Donald Trump is crashing out in real time, fam. Real time. All of this for Israel. And it is very clear that even some of the Trump supporters and defenders are not defending him on this. When it comes to war with Iran, it is clear that even some of the most vocal MAGA peeps are against Americans going to war with Iran. The crash out can be seen in many different ways. Shout out to Mel who tweeted this. He has lost his goddamn mind. Here's Donald Trump. Now, these are images from Truth Social that people have been sharing. Donald Trump tweeted unconditional surrender. Okay? Or posted on Truth Social. Here's another one. We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We are not going to take him out, at least not for now. But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So he said that first. And then here he said unconditional surrender. Crashing out in real time. And what you are going to see is that one of the people that he has decided to crash out against is Tucker Carlson, somebody who has unconditionally supported Donald Trump all the way. And now Trump has some things to say about him. Now, check this out. Shout out to James Lee for sharing this. The irony here is if Iran actually pursued developing nuclear weapons instead of diplomacy in the past, none of this would be happening. It's true. This is what Trump says here. Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame and waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. So that was on the 16th. Like he was just losing it, right? Basically telling people, if you're there, you need to get out because we're about to strike. That's basically what he was trying to say. And so many people have been coming out against him. Now, let me show you what Tucker Carlson said. And this is why I believe he's mad at Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson was in this conversation here with Steve Bannon. Listen.
I actually really love Trump. I think he's a deeply humane, kind person. And I am saying this because I'm really afraid that my country's going to be further weakened by this. I think we're going to see the end of American empire. Obviously, other nations would like to see that. And this is a perfect way to scuttle the USS America on the shoals of Iran. But it's also going to end, I believe, Trump's presidency and effectively end it. And so that's why I'm saying this.
What do you mean by that? That's coming from you. That's
you get. Look, I knew Bush. I knew George W. Bush. We had, family connections to Bush. I knew Bush personally. I still see Bush sometimes. And, of course, he hates me, and he does because I criticized him on Iraq. And that war is the sum total from a historical perspective of his administration. But I knew him, and he had all kinds of plans for the things that he wanted to do. But once domestically right. To improve the country. Right. And you may agree or disagree, but like in his mind, he wasn't just about the invasion of Iraq in March of 2000.
No. He was going to redo Social Security. He had all types of, he was going to take care of the entitlements issue.
And he really thought it was going to work.
Yep.
And you could laugh at that or whatever. But the point is, the second you get enmeshed in a real war, not a fake, let's go bomb the villagers and declare success, though we don't even have a good track record. Like, why are the Houthis still there? No, I mean there's a whole other question, right, which is how prepared is the U.S. military for a real conflict? And the answer is totally unprepared. Scary unprepared. I don't think people understand that. But anyway, the only reason I'm saying any of this is because I really, really care.
Okay, so that's Tucker Carlson there with Steve Bannon saying that the U.S. would not be able to, basically like, no, we would not be able to beat Iran. Like a war with Iran is not just a war with Iran. A war with Iran is a war with also Ansar Allah, possibly Russia. We don't know. We don't know. But it's not just them, right? Possibly Hezbollah. We don't know. Iran is huge. And they haven't even used, when I talked to Professor Morandi, the weapons that you've seen Iran using, those are the old generation weapons. Those aren't even the new ones. And you see how much damage those have been able to do. So Tucker Carlson does not think that Americans should be involved with this. And by the way, Tucker, to answer your question, why are the Houthis still there? They're still there because, again, that is part of the resistance there in Yemen. Had the U.S. government not given those weapons to Saudi Arabia and allowed Saudi Arabia to slaughter people in Yemen, you want to talk about a humanitarian crisis? Look at pictures of Yemen. You probably don't get a Houthis with that. Now, that was one part that he said. He also went on to call out Fox News. He called out Mark Levin, who Mark Levin is very much pro-Israel. He's an asshat. He called out Mark Levin, and then he goes on to call Fox News propaganda.
Well, Levin's the funniest because he's terrible on TV. And again, I never had any problems with him at Fox. He kind of controls Hannity in this weird way. I never understood what that was about. I never really cared to learn. Sean was great to me, always nice, and so was Levin. So I just like kind of stayed away. But they didn't want to put him on TV because he's like screechy and he's just not a calming presence. Mark Levin on TV, like, oh my, unless you're literally floating in and out of consciousness and the attendant has taken the remote to go have a cigarette, you're gonna flip the channel when Mark Levin gets on TV. It's like listening to your ex-wife scream about alimony payments. It's like not appealing. So they wouldn't put him on TV. And then, you know, Sean pushed and they gave him some kind of weekend show that nobody watched. Now I don't have a TV, but someone was just who owns a TV was just telling me that he's like all over prime time. So what is that? That's not by popular acclaim. That's not like their viewer surveys. Like, you know, we need a lot more Mark Levin, less Jesse Waters, more Mark Levin. Mark Levin! What they're doing is what they always do, which is just turning up the propaganda hose to full blast and just trying to, you know, knock elderly Fox viewers off their feet and make them submit.
So there's Tucker Carlson calling out Fox News, basically saying that Fox News is pushing propaganda. And to that, I asked Tucker Carlson, were you a part of that propaganda as well? Because you worked at Fox News all those years. So there is something is happening there within MAGA. We are starting to see that split. Now, Donald Trump had a response to Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson wasn't even cruel in his response, but Donald Trump is going to be cruel in his. Donald Trump takes aim at Tucker Carlson. Check this out.
Tucker Carlson criticizing you, saying that you were complicit in the war.
I don't know what Tucker Carlson is saying. Let him go get a television network and say it so that people listen.
And quickly, have you spoken to Zelensky before your bylaws?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Japan?
A lot of them. Good happened.
Good happened?
Japanese, sir. Well.
Tucker Carlson.
Donald Trump said that Tucker Carlson needs to go get a television network so people can actually listen to what he's saying. That was kind of low. And again, because Tucker Carlson doesn't want Americans to go to war with Iran. And what's crazy is that some people are pretending like, oh, how dare he? That's a ridiculous claim. No, it's not a ridiculous claim. People are tired of the wars. Now, Donald Trump ran on being anti-war, and some of us third-party voters tried to warn people that both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump were both pro-war. Now, with Kamala Harris, she made it pretty clear to people. We'll show you a little bit later. She made it pretty clear to people when she said that she would not withhold weapons from Israel. She also had no problem, if need be, going to war with Iran. You'll see that a little bit later. But then also Donald Trump was already president. You had him as president in 2016. And people said, well, he didn't start any new wars. He didn't start no new wars. He didn't stop the ones that was going either. Don't forget, he's the one that killed Soleimani. Don't forget Donald Trump bombing Syria. Don't forget Donald Trump with the drones in Somalia. So I don't know why people thought that. I really don't. But I think that people are starting to see things for what they are. And that includes Candace Owens said, Trump is now mocking Tucker for not being on TV. I don't know what Tucker Carlson is saying. Let him get a television network and say it so that people listen. Completely out of touch and ironic, given the fact that podcasters won Donald Trump the election. She goes on to say here, Donald Trump just completely fractured his base, and he did it for the very neocons who minted the hashtag Never Trump movement. Truly unbelievable. She's referring to this comment here. Somebody please explain to kooky Tucker Carlson Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. So you see how Donald Trump, all these people that kind of stuck their neck out or really supported and advocated for Donald Trump, you see how he's treating them. You see how he's responding to them. He don't give a damn. He already in now. And then there's the whole part about holding him accountable. I mean, how much can you actually do? Because legally he can't run again for another term. He's talked about it, but legally he can't. Ladies and gentlemen, there was one anti-war candidate in the 2024 presidential election that had a majority ballot access, and that was Jill Stein. Not Donald Trump, not Kamala Harris. Let's go to part 2 of Type VNC. This is the point that we were trying to get across to everybody at that point in time, is that no, like, don't fall for it. Don't believe it. When people are running, they'll tell you anything. But we had already seen how Donald Trump was as a leader. We had already seen, yeah, he didn't start new wars, but he killed Soleimani. He bombed Syria, right? So the evidence was already there. Marjorie Taylor Greene, also against this. Pray for our troops. Pray for the innocent people in Israel and Iran. Pray that we aren't attacked on our homeland after our border was open for 4 years and millions of people and millions of gotaways came in. War has bad consequences. We voted for America first. See what's happening, folks? Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene again. Everyone is finding out who are real America first / MAGA and who were fake and just said it because it was popular. Unfortunately, the list of fakes are becoming quite long and expose themselves quickly. Anyone slobbering for the U.S. to become fully involved in the Israel-Iran war is not America first / MAGA. Wishing for murder of innocent people is disgusting. We are sick and tired of foreign wars, all of them. And this one will quickly engulf the Middle East, BRICS, and NATO as countries are required to take a side. She's actually right about that. Marjorie Taylor Greene, not a favor of this. And she's pro-Israel, but not a fan of the U.S. going to war with Iran. She's been very vocal about this. She's not biting her tongue because Donald Trump is the president at this point in time. Now, to her point about you're starting to see who was really America first and who was being fake. Let me make something very clear to everybody, okay? It's not America first to cut Job Corps in America. There are a number of people I know that participated in Job Corps, and Job Corps helped them get out of the hood. People who couldn't afford to go to college, didn't want to take on student loan debt, went to Job Corps, and it really helped them. Donald Trump cut that. That's not America first. If Donald Trump was really America first, he wouldn't cut programs like Job Corps, but tell you to go to war with Iran for Israel, right? He's saying that's America first. She went on to express her opinion about this on OAN with Matt Gaetz. She's not backing down on this one. Listen.
Congresswoman Greene, you have been a voice of reason and America first policy. Tell us how you see this conflict between Israel and Iran.
Matt, I see it just as you do, and you laid that out so well. That's the America First message, but it's also the truth that the American people have woken up to. We've watched for decades propaganda news. I'll call out Fox News and the New York Post. They're known to be the neocon network news.
So now you have another one calling out Fox News. This is not good for the I'm just here to say, look, this is not good for MAGA. This is not good for the MAGA movement because, like I said, Marjorie Taylor Greene is one that is a little bit more vocal. Like, she's not going to hold back. Tucker Carlson usually is not as vocal against like Donald Trump. And he said it politely. He said these things politely. Matt Gaetz is also against the U.S. going to war with Iran. It's so obvious when you look at some of the people that were rah Trump who are turning against them because of this issue.
Get propaganda news on our side, just like the left does. And the American people have been brainwashed into believing that America has to engage in these foreign wars in order for us to survive. And it's absolutely not true. Prime Minister Netanyahu said, I saw on video, he said today that America first is America dead. And that sounds like a threat to me. And I completely disagree with him on that. In order for America to not be dead, it's to stay America first. And this is what the American people want. It is not anti-Semitic to say that we do not want to go to war against Iran or any other country. That is not anti-Semitic at all.
Oh, MTG, be careful, honey, because AIPAC might come for you next. But she's right. She's right. It's not like, this is insane. Benjamin Netanyahu did say that. For him to say being America first means America dead. First of all, who the fuck are you? This is how Americans need to respond to Benjamin Netanyahu. Why are people allowing or okay with this guy who don't even live here, by the way, with this guy telling us what we need to do as a country? Worry about your own stuff, okay? Worry about your own stuff. Worry about all the sex offenders that rush off to live in Israel. How about you worry about that? Those types of things. But he's trying to tell us what I agree to her, what she said. It does sound like a threat. Sounds like a threat to me.
It's actually rational, it's sane, and it's loving to people all over the world. A Middle Eastern war will pull America back 20 years, just like you showed in your intro for your show. It's exactly the lies that we were told after 9/11, and many people know it's not true. So I'm completely opposed to this war. Of course, we don't want to see the people in Israel bombed, but they're only being bombed because Israel attacked Iran first. And that's the truth that we need to be talking about. And Matt, I want to add on one more thing that I think is incredibly important, because Fox News and all these other news stations are not talking about it. Last week on Thursday, they held a vote in the Knesset, and Netanyahu only won by 2 votes, because the polling is showing that if an election was held today, he would lose. What he's doing is not popular among the people in Israel. They are tired of war. They are so devastated after October 7th. But they are tired of war, and that vote happened last Thursday, and then Friday Israel attacked Iran. That's why the bombs are falling, and it seems very political. And you and I have seen those types of things before.
I guess she told Donald Trump, because here's the thing. Now, she does not have that opinion when it comes to Gaza, right? Like, she's one of the people that called the pro-Palestinian protesters. She called them names. She called them like terrorists, like that type of stuff. So I was very surprised to see her speak up against this. Then you also have this issue with Tulsi Gabbard. You see, all these people in Trump administration, the ones that are telling you Iran is building a nuclear weapon, they must have brain log or something. I don't know, because it was just March of this year that Tulsi Gabbard, in her testimony, made it very clear that that was not the case. Flashback.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program.
And then it goes into the interview with Jeffrey Sachs there. But so we're just going to pretend like that didn't happen. Where is Tulsi Gabbard? Tulsi Gabbard's been pretty quiet. I looked on Twitter. Where's Tulsi at? Donald Trump responded to her. Like, dude is crashing out in real time. Listen.
You've always said that you don't believe Iran should be able to have a nuclear weapon. But how close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having it.
So I don't know if everyone can hear because of the sound in the background, but she said that Tulsi Gabbard said that they were not. And Donald Trump's response is, I don't care what she said. So he's going after Tucker Carlson. He's going after Tulsi Gabbard. Like, again, Tulsi Gabbard is a part of his administration. He's going after the very people that have been defending him and have been helping him. Something else, a really good point here brought up by Peter Dow. It's 2025. Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene have a clear anti-war stance than the Democratic leadership. What a sad excuse for a party. Isn't that sad? I told you, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, silent. And you'll see the ones that are still playing along with the game. I told you, I really believe that Laura Loomer is paid by Israel. I really do. She went on to say, Donald Trump is officially done with Tucker Carlson. Don't take money from Arabs and become blinded by irrational hatred for Jews and Israel like Tucker did. Okay, first of all, that is not what Tucker did. Tucker's whole reputation just imploded because he decided to sell out to shady Arabs who bought his mouth. Okay. Does Laura Loomer not realize that I believe that Laura Loomer is paid by Israel? Second of all, I saw a lot more people defending Tucker Carlson than Donald Trump online these past 2 days. That's what I've seen. We're starting to see it. If you guys didn't see the one about Dave Smith, who supported Donald Trump, is gone on a totally different path. Not happy with this at all. Not happy with Don. I'm trying to tell you, the people who actively supported him and said he's going to be anti-war, let's go along with this, are calling him out. Now, Thomas Massie, we're going to have to give him kudos for this. This is not our war. But if it were, Congress must decide such matters according to our Constitution. I'm introducing a bipartisan war powers resolution tomorrow to prohibit our involvement. I invite all members of Congress to co-sponsor this resolution. That is how you lead. That's how you lead. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat, but that's taken it. Why didn't the Democrats do that? Why didn't Chuck Schumer do that? Because Chuck Schumer agrees with this war. Why didn't Hakeem Jeffries do that? Because Hakeem Jeffries, who's also an AIPAC puppet, agrees with this war. Thomas Massie doesn't take money from AIPAC. I've already seen online as well that Rokana and AOC, a couple of others, said that they would sign on to this piece of legislation with Thomas Massie. So he's getting some bipartisan support already. That's the right path to go down. It's absolutely fucking insane to sit up here and try to go to war with Iran. Tara Reid brought up something as well. I think people forget this, but honey, the internet, there's always a tweet. Look at this. You guys remember? In 2011, Donald Trump said, in order to get elected, Barack Obama will start a war with Iran. 2012, Obama will attack Iran in order to get reelected. 2013, I predict that President Obama will at some point attack Iran in order to save face. Also 2018, remember that I predicted a long time ago that Obama will attack Iran because of his inability to negotiate properly, not skilled. Now, Obama was weak. Obama wasn't a powerful leader. Obama didn't do anything for the Black community, but Obama wasn't the one. Where are we at right now? And yet here it is. It's Donald Trump is the one that wants to push this. Let's get Americans involved in this war with Iran. People are starting to change their minds about this administration. Look at some of the responses that have come from people. Rich says, kiss the Republican majority goodbye for the next decade. If he pulls the trigger, it's all over for MAGA. Here's another one. Texas Patriot, we have to make a third party more viable. Today is proving we can no longer go along with the two-party system. I am now an independent. Drop the freaking beat here, fam. This is what we were talking about. Now an independent. gentlemen, we are starting to see a shift. We are starting to see a shift. I told you, what was my mission? Get people to leave these damn parties. So people are starting to see. I think this gentleman here, A, said, same, man, same. This is not what I voted for. I feel totally betrayed by this administration so far. Ladies and gentlemen, it's looking good. Now, here's something I want to remind everybody of, because Butch Ware was so kind to post this video. Many people are saying, oh, this is all because of Donald Trump. Yeah, and Israel. But don't get it twisted, because Kamala Harris also would support a war with Iran. Let me take you back to remind you again, both parties support going to war with Iran, just for those who may have forgotten.
Iran is a destabilizing, dangerous force in the Middle East, and today's attack on Israel only further demonstrates that fact. As I have said, I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself against Iran and Iran-backed terrorist militias. My commitment to the security of Israel is unwavering. And let us be clear, Iran is not only a threat to Israel, Iran is also a threat to American personnel in the region. We will never hesitate to take whatever action is necessary to defend U.S. forces.
If Iran was a threat to American personnel in the region, why did you have American personnel in the region? Oh, if they were that scary and they were that much of a threat, why do we have American bases surrounding Iran?
And interest against Iran and Iran-backed terrorists.
Which foreign country do you consider to be our greatest adversary?
I think there's an obvious one in mind, which is Iran. Iran has American blood on their hands, okay? This attack on Israel, 200 ballistic missiles. What we need to do to ensure that Iran never achieves the ability to be a nuclear power, that is one of my highest priorities.
So if you have proof that Iran is building a nuclear weapon, would you take military action?
I'm not going to talk about hypotheticals at this moment.
What do you see? What do you know, ladies and gentlemen? So yes, they both would have supported, both support a war with Iran. People need to wake up. I like this guy here. He said something very, very special. People really need to wake up, because what we are seeing is that both of these parties want us headed towards World War III. Now, there are a couple of people that are a part of these parties that don't want this. They are anti-war. And I've said this before. All those people who are against the war and they're against like the militarism, all these people need to form a separate party. And I've been dead serious about this, and I still believe that this could happen, but they need to be a part of a different party. You need to give voters something else that is not the war machine. Now, you have the Green Party, you have the Libertarian Party, but it doesn't help when you have libertarians like Dave Smith, the Libertarian, go and support the Republican Party. It doesn't help if you have people part of the Green Party go and support the Democratic Party. At that point, those parties just become social clubs. So I think that there needs to be a hard line in the sand that people need to leave those parties. I encourage everyone who is watching to become a registered independent. You don't have to belong to a party, and you don't owe anyone your vote. And this guy is sounding the alarm. This is not a game. It's not about, I see people talking about, oh, who's going to win this game, or who's going to win that, da-da-da. No. I don't think people realize if we go into World War III, if you think we're having economic problems now in the United States, that is greatly going to increase. If you think inflation was a problem over the past couple of years, that is also going to continue to increase. It'll be significantly higher. We cannot go to war with Iran. And what the U.S. needs to do is to stay out of these countries and let these people live their lives.
So Israel is getting wrecked by Iran, and we are at the cusp of World War III. That's what's happening. And if you're worried about that, let me tell you something. As a Westerner, let me tell you something. If you are from the United States, you are from France, you are from the UK, any of these countries, you need to be pressuring your governments to stay the hell out of this conflict. Stop spying, stop sending information, stop shooting down missiles. Absolutely do not launch any fucking attacks, no matter what, because you're going to get fucking decimated. Like, this is not a war the West will win. So far, you have Israel versus Iran. Pakistan has committed 100% to Iran. They're already helping them. They're already moving jets into place to shoot down missiles. And they have threatened the United States and Israel, said, if anybody attacks Iran with nuclear weapons, we will drop a nuke on Israel. Period. Flat out. Iran has already said, if you help Israel, we're going to attack you. That's a heads up to you, the United States and the UK. Both of you have so far, and Jordan, probably Saudi too, shooting down missiles. Listen, you countries better get your shit together, because China has now come into the fray fully on the side of Pakistan and Iran and has already sent a cargo ship full of munitions. North Korea has now come in and said, we are on the side of Iran. Let's go. We will supply munitions. Russia has come in. Okay. Turkey has come in. Listen, this is a war you can't win. The only people on the side of Israel are the United States, and that's tenuous at best. Now, the United States, if it gets into the conflict, will try to rope in the UK. France has said, yeah, if there's anything we can do, we'll defend Israel. But who's scared of a bunch of frogs anyway? Listen, you gotta stop this world war from happening, and the way to do it is to come against your own government and say, do not fucking get involved. Don't get involved. It's time for America to cut ties with Israel and just let Israel freaking sleep in the bed that it made. That's the truth of the matter. So hopefully we don't see World War III, but it's looking like it's going that way. The way, guys, if you have
very, very important points there. And I just think people need to pay attention to what's going on, because the reality is this is not a game. It's not a joke. This is not a hee ha ha moment. It's not funny. And I don't know about you guys, but I think some of you may be aware here. There are a number of us that know people that went to Iraq, and some of them came back and some of them did not. And you might be one of those people. We cannot have that again. There may be some of you that are watching that remember people who were sent to the Vietnam War, and a lot of them did not come back. And what I am saying is that be very much aware of what's happening right now. What you see happening right now, you need to be very much aware that we have been here before. We have been here before. We don't need this war. A war with Iran will be this generation's Iraq war, but worse. We don't need that again. We don't need another Vietnam. We don't need another Iraq war. We don't need another Afghanistan. And I would say the majority, I think they're tired of these wars, and people want peace. So regardless of what political party you're a part of, I don't know about you, but you got to push back on this. We should not be actively trying to go to war with Iran. Tell Benjamin Netanyahu, deal with his own stuff, deal with his own damn business. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.